guys, Ken here. In the last video we discussed what is music, and we talked about the three things that we define music as organized sound, and we talked about the three things that we use to organize it: pitch, time, and duration. So today we're going to explore that a little further, and we're going to discuss music as a language. It really is a language. It has a written form, something like this, the written form of music, and it has an audible form, which is what we hear when we listen to music, or what we sing with our voice, or play on our instrument. And what we express, what we use music to express, is emotional content. So here I'm saying something sad, So, or we can express something happy. Something like that. And choosing the notes and arranging them using those three things, pitch, time, and duration, is what we use to express ourselves musically. It doesn't mean that you have to learn to be a good music reader and note reader, but it helps. It definitely helps if you can read the notes. But what's most important is that you understand it. How these things are put together, and that's what's going to help you be a better musician. A lot of guitarists don't read music. You give them something like that and they have no idea what they're looking at. Sad, actually, but a lot of people simply don't want to take the time to learn how to do that. To be able to sit down and read a piece of music and play from that written piece of music takes a great deal of time and practice. And so I understand why guitarists in general would rather improvise something and play around. That also takes time and practice to be able to do that. But it's also not really necessary in rock music and pop music and stuff to be able to read the notes right off the paper and be able to play them. I liken that to, in English, you being able to just pick a Bible verse up and walking up to the front of the church and read that verse to the congregation. Not everybody can do that, and not everybody's comfortable doing that. Only people who are really good readers. So you don't need to be able to do that. But like I said, it does help to understand it. But it is the language that we use, so you should be familiar with it. You probably heard which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And do, same note. When we translate that into English, it becomes C, D, E, F, G, A, B. What is that? That's called the major scale. And if you've ever seen The Sound of Music, but anyway, the character is teaching the kids about music by singing songs, and she's teaching them the major scale. The major scale, one of the first scales we all learn, is composed of notes from the bigger scale, which is called the chromatic scale. We talked about that in the last video. That's the scale with all the notes. If you notice, when I play that scale, I skipped over a note. That's you hear that? That is an interval. An interval is the distance in pitch between two notes. And this one is a big interval that we call a whole step. So this major scale is composed of a whole step from do to re. Re to mi is another whole step. But then from mi to fa is a small one, see? Right? Then another big one, another whole step. And from G to A, another whole step. A to B, another whole step, and then the last one's a half step. Okay? So the intervals are what give the melody certain characteristics. And the major scale happens to be a happy one. It's a happy scale. But if we play the C minor scale, right? You hear that? That's a lot sadder sounding. So the choice of scales when you're playing music determines how you want that to sound. So if your muse is asking you to compose something that's sad, you're not going to choose the major scale per se. You're going to choose something that's a little darker, a little sadder sounding. In the case of the major scale, that's going to be the happy sounding one, you know. Something like that. So it's important to learn the language of music so that you, for one, can communicate to other musicians and explain to them what it is you're trying to do. And it's also just like if you have to know English before you can compose, an essay. Just write an essay or write a sentence. And there are rules in music, and rules more like guidelines, like it said in the movie. But you want to understand those, and that will make your life easier as a musician. Just instead of just randomly picking notes and seeing what sounds best, you can, through a little bit of study, know in advance what it is that's going to take you where you want to go. Say what you want to say. There are lots of different scales that we use on guitar. Pentatonics are big in rock music. They're big in everything. Country music, a lot of major pentatonic scales and things like that. So there you have it. Take the time to learn a little bit more about it, and it will help you become a better musician. Feel free to leave comments in the comments section below, guys. Would love to hear from you. I welcome any comments, and keep them appropriate, please. And somewhere up there is going to be my ugly mug. Click on it, subscribe to the channel, like and share the channel or the video. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.